Hello friends, welcome back. We have finally made it, the last war of Season 12. We're sitting right in the middle of Platinum 2. Today we're taking on XTUM, Exidium? Anyways, we're going with Void, Namor, and Warlock because we have a Sinister to take on today. Let's get right to it. Alright, first up we got a Mephisto on Tyranny, long distance relationship. So a prime fight for Void. I was actually doing this fight in my car in the parking lot of my my work before I started to drive home because I wanted to make sure that I was in position to do more fights when I got home if the hidden node had been cleared. So we're not going to play around here, we're just going to bait out the S1, go back in, and you can see this person is running Mystic Dispersion. Whenever I dex and I get that little precision buff, you can see his power jump up a little bit. You'll see right here. Yeah. However, it looks like it's only like level 1, level 2, nothing much higher than that, so not really anything that's going to cause me a problem, especially since this fight is already just about over. Got the Petrifies up, so his regen is not a problem, and I'm just going to wait out the degen here until he drops rather than take another parry. So there we go, full yellow bar. Moving right along. Next up we have a Ronin, a champion that I almost never see, even in against opponents who run a lot of diversity. I don't usually see a Ronin. Just double checking the nodes here, make sure he has nothing that would interact with the node. There isn't. Of course, my block fails, and I take a nice 4-hit combo to the face there. So right now I'm going to hold my special 1 so that I can willpower heal that hold damage there. You know, this is a low-powered Ronin, and I'm not really concerned about timing out or anything. So already back up to yellow bar, so now I can safely use my specials again here. Get those debuffs working. Get that degen going, and any of the chip damage from parries that I take from here on out in the rest of the fight, I can heal up from that weakness debuff from the node. So try and play this as close to full health as possible. As usual, you know, I've got a mini boss coming up next, and it's an Ironman, so I'll be taking a lot of block damage in that fight, and I want to make sure that I have 100% health. Alright, so we've got Fear the Void up now, but it's too late. Down he goes. Okie dokie. Moving on, we got a, like I said, an Ironman on the mini-boss node. This is Explosive Personality, Aggression Armor, Enhanced Armor up. So, same strategy as always. Just gonna do, we're gonna parry, even though we can't parry stun him on a medium attack. That'll help reduce some of the damage, and then wait out his heavy and counter with a heavy of our own. And this will prevent all of the auto block potential from him with those passive armor ups. And it will also, you know, the damage from the heavy isn't really what's going to be hurting him. It's the constant degen from our debuffs. So. Anybody who's watched my channel, I've done fights like this, and I should probably count them up. This has got to be, I mean, dozens and dozens of fights on this node combination with this champ. So, yeah. So, talk for a minute maybe about how the season has gone. This season has been pretty challenging, I'd say. I think my item usage has about doubled from the previous season. I don't really know how to describe why. I don't feel like the fights that I'm facing in this level compared to the last few seasons are appreciably more difficult. I don't know, maybe I just, you know, I've been dying more than I have the last couple seasons. I think my deaths this season about totaled the last 2 combined. So I guess on some level I should expect, you know, the higher you climb in the war rankings, you know, the harder it's going to get, the more you're going to die, the more items you're going to use. but I'm having trouble matching that with the level of fights that I've been playing. So yeah, I don't know. It's wearing on me though. I say this every season. By the last 3-4 wars in the season, I'm ready to be done. And staying competitive at this level, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of focus, and there's a ton of pressure. And every season I say I don't really know how much longer I can hack it at this level. So I don't know. We'll see. Readdress it every off season, and I'll keep doing it until I don't. All right, so we're up top here. Took out Ironman, full attack bonus. We got a Sabertooth here on Vigor and Dominable. We're just going to top a Void here with a couple potions, just in case. We get tagged with an S1 and get bled. Not even going to check the Sig level on the Sabertooth because it doesn't matter. Once we get the debuffs up, the healing from his ability and the healing from the node will be not a problem. So I mentioned on a previous video against a Sabertooth, so the further away from him you are, the more likely he is to throw his special one. So usually I will do 4 hits if I'm pushing him over a bar power and immediately back off, and that gives me some distance. Void special 1 also creates a lot of distance, so if I know I'm going to push him over a special 1 with it, I will usually just do that, maybe early and not finish the combo. So 4 hits, back off twice, and just sit there for a while, and then he leaps in. And the added bonus of keeping your distance from him is that the further away you are, the more time you have to react. And it really doesn't matter how far away you are, he's going to jump and land right next to you, so you can always counter the special one. So, love fighting Sabertooth. Alright, if you thought the Domino shenanigans were done, there is one final Domino to mess with me this season. So this one is unduped 6-star, so at least I don't have to worry about critical failure. This is a recovery buffet, so I'm going to boost up for this fight, and then there's another Ironman on the next node if you saw on the map screen, and that will be it for that night, this night that I was doing it. So just a few little boosts, medium health boost there because I'm expecting, as usual, to get screwed by some sort of medium evade and get countered. And then I also pop on that invulnerability boost as just an added bonus. Last war of the season, important that we do well, and I wanted to take every precaution possible. So I'm being extra careful here, as you can see. 4 hits backing off, special intercept there just to get some degen working. The degen on that special one fails, so I don't get a debuff up. The parries are working strangely pretty well in this fight. And I'm being extra careful again of, when I push her over bar power, if she has lucky, I'm backing off. So what's going to end up happening here is the fight goes pretty well. I think I do either get a block failure or a medium evade counter, and I take a few hits. But I'm in a good position to finish the fight. And then when Fear of the Void is about to proc, I make sure that I time it up so that I'm not unlucky when Fear of the Void is going to happen here, and it fails anyway. So what happens is all of my debuffs are removed from her, but I don't get Fear of the Void, which essentially removes my buffet prevention, and then she more or less heals up like half her health. I think it's 45% of her health to be exact. And then I end up timing out on this fight. So you can see Fear of the Void has failed, and I'm essentially starting from scratch. I have to be extra careful not to activate Dexterity, but it's pretty much not going to happen. As soon as she decides to throw a special 1, I'm either going to have to take a ton of block damage or just trigger the health. So, a minute left. I'm still feeling okay at this point. I haven't triggered Dexterity yet. What I probably should have done is continue to bait out heavy attacks and go back in there. So now I took a combo. She's close to her S3 there. I've triggered the dexterity regen, trying to bait out the special 2. And at this point, less than a minute left, I know there's absolutely no hope of me taking this fight. So there we go. I've triggered dexterity a second time. It seems very inconsistent. Sometimes the healing triggers when you actually trigger the buff on you, and then sometimes it's when the buff disappears. So I don't really know what's up with that. So there, we finally have her heal blocked again, but it's far too late. Less than 30 seconds left. I'm ramping up the aggression here, trying to do what I can. I'd rather time out than die here, only to, I know either way I'm going to have to go back in. But if I time out, at least I will have some life left, and I maybe won't have to potion up as much. And in actuality, we did quite a bit of damage. I think if I hadn't have triggered dexterity that second time, I still might have been able to get through that fight. But that's Domino. She just causes stuff to break, and you can do everything as well as possible. I wasn't unlucky when Fear the Void was about to hit, and it failed anyway, because that's just what she does. She just breaks stuff, and that's just how it is, I guess. So nothing much you can do about it. It was annoying, but I didn't feel like I made a mistake. Just Domino's luck, I guess. All right, so we healed up and went back in, more or less starting the fight over, because I don't have the buffet protection at the beginning of the fight, so she can basically heal up until I get those petrifies and or enough debuffs up on her. Now we've got the healing up, or I'm sorry, the heal block up, and seeing a few evades there, but we haven't gotten tagged by one. I almost take that S1, somehow managed to block in time. She evades my S1, because of course she does, and just trying to let the degen do its job here. So trying to lengthen the fight with Domino and just keep evading her is bad news, because eventually your dex is going to fail and you're going to take a hit. So just you just gotta do what you can against her. So I absolutely hate fighting Domino. This season has been terrible for her. So all right, so we got an Ironman. This is on the buffet and best defense node. So don't trigger auto block. Not that I would be anyway. And there's no Indomitable, so once I've got my heal reversal up, the buffet will start doing mega damage to him. I'm not going to play this like I did the Iron Man on the other node. I can safely just combo right into him like I would normally. I'm keeping kind of one eye up on his armor up passives, though. If it hits 3 at any point, I immediately back off, because if you hit into him when he has that 4th one, you're going to get parried and you're going to get wrecked. So he's being cooperative with the light attacks here, which is great. So now he's got three stacks of armor, but he has a special anyway, so I'm going to be baiting that out. Being very cooperative with the light attacks, so I'm getting a few actual parry stuns in. And I am triggering buffet, just from dodging those unblockable special ones, but it's okay. Once I get the debuffs going, it'll kind of cover for that. So even though we're a minute in and he's still got 3/4 of his life left, his health is going to start melting down pretty quickly here. As soon as you see that gray buffet timer. So as soon as I triggered Dex, there we go. You can see he took a big chunk of health off there from buffet. So now we've got Fear the Void up, so we've got a nice damage bonus. Getting more debuffs up. Don't get lucky with the Petrify, but that's okay. We're already in heal reversal land, so he's going to throw this. Actually, I was baiting out the special and triggered buffet, and that took off the most majority of his remaining health. So, all right, up on Boss Island. So this war was pretty close at this point. I think they had cleared almost everybody, and we were tied in deaths. So it was important at this point, I think, to keep our death count within 1 or 2 of theirs. And I think they definitely had better diversity than us. So it was going to be super close either way. So we're going to take out this green goblin here. This is the recovery strike back node. And so you see I was safely throwing my special 1 there when he was low on power. That brought him up over a special 1. Sometimes I'll take chances with that. It really depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. If they're low enough on power and I have a special 1 and I can kind of get in there and throw it without it being too risky, then I'll do it. So at the beginning, he was really okay with throwing a special 1. The remainder of the fight, I had a ton of problems baiting out his special attacks. And you can see here, I'm getting pushed slowly back into the wall, and I don't really want to push him to a special 2. Finally, he decides to throw it. But this won't be the first time, or the last time rather, that I have trouble baiting his specials. And I'm not creating myself enough distance here. And he's already close to a special 2. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to create space by hitting into him right here and bring him to a special 2. And then I'm going to back off, and he's going to intercept my dash back with his special 2. And where is it? It's coming up here, right there. That was my fault for sure. I anticipated the dash in from him instead of reacting to it, so that was on me. Thankfully, I avoid Incinerate Immune, so I only get the poison debuff. But now I'm low on health. Thankfully, so is he, and we escape from that fight with a full AB. Anyways, alrighty. So we got a Mr. Sinister on the debuff immune and crit resistance node, and my first mistake is right here, is not boosting up. I don't know if I forgot to do it, or if I was thinking in the moment that this Sinister was only an R4, and I have a really good counter, so maybe I don't need to boost up. Either way, that was a huge mistake. In hindsight, I seriously underestimated the difference that the crit resistance node makes on him. I think going in, I'm thinking, it doesn't matter if he has crit resistance or not. If I crit him, he's going to heal, but with Warlock, as soon as I get the infections up, he's not going to heal. He's going to start draining power. However, the problem is that with Warlock, not being duped, so I don't get that extra degen, and he's only R4, I really am missing that extra damage from when I do happen to crit, even though it will be infrequent with this node. So I'm kind of, looking at the time, looking at his health, and I'm playing the fight well enough. It's just not enough. We're a third of the way through the fight, and I expect to be at 66% health for him or below, and we're really not that close. So we're coming up on the halfway point, and I'm not sure at this point if I could play the fight any better. He's certainly being liberal with his specials. I don't have to waste a lot of time throwing them. I'm taking some chances with some backdraft intercepts. You can see when he is close to the wall. Trying to keep my infections up so that I don't trigger his healing. So I think, this fight ends in another timeout. I think if I were doing this again, I absolutely would boost for 1. That was, like I said, that was a huge mistake on my part. The other solution is to get my Warlock up to R5, and I think that's probably going to happen before the start of next season, for sure. So. I think I'm planning on. I keep going back and forth on what I want to do with featured. So I have 2 Tech Awakening gems in my inventory, and one I was saving for Sentinel. However, that new guillotine that was just announced looks absolutely incredible, and she seems to have pretty high prestige. So I might use one on her. I might use one on. The other one on Warlock then, rather than wait for a Sentinel that may never come. And it's really just I don't like taking champs to R5 who aren't duped. It's like this weird mental block that I have. Like, for example, I have a Corvus and I have a Venom, and I have 2 Cosmic R5 gems from Variant, and they're just sitting there, and I don't rank them up to R5 because neither of them are duped. And I realize in my head that neither of them really need the dupe, but it's just this thing. I don't want to see them bronze stars for an R5. So, so yeah, I will. If I'm to take Warlock up, I will probably awaken him. I don't know if I'm going to open another featured or not. My chances are pretty slim with how many shots I have at the moment, and I want to keep saving shards for the next round, which is still, a couple months away, so it's not like it's imminent, and I'm going to lose out on a bunch of chances. So yeah, we'll see. I also, the other problem I have is that I have absolutely no tech sig stones, and I have 400 sig stone crystals waiting, but I'm full on cosmic stones and no duped cosmic champs to use them on. So it's just this backlog of sig stones that I can't use. So anyway, so we've gone back in. This is our second attempt in at Sinister, and we get him down. So really, if they increase the war timer from 3 minutes to like 4 or 5 minutes, I think that's a change they should look into. But maybe that's a conversation for another day. So we did go on to lose this last war. It was very close. They had us in diversity by quite a bit, but that didn't really translate to a lot of points. In terms of attack bonus, it was like maybe 3 deaths difference. So yeah, another potion heavy war. I had the 1 death to Thing, which I forgot to record, the Thing boss, and then I had the 2 timeouts. So yeah, so we finished with an even 6-6 record, and I already know right now where we finished, but I will leave that for the rewards video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.